Hello everyone, and welcome to the Fictional Vortex. So we are back with an interesting movie on what if Naruto Become Devil Sage and Dragon Emperor in DXD. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. Chapter 1, Sage Devil and the Void Dragon Emperor. As you may notice, I copied the first part of the Sage Reborn and the Ghastly Bloodline. That is because both stories have the same opening since the main male and female leads are the same but setting is different. Normal speech. Biju, Sage Mode, Dragon Speech. During the war Haku's will has taken but sealed in a way he couldn't be returned to the afterlife, still left sealed even after Kabuto undid the Edo Tensei Jutsu. When the ninja army gathered together, Suna Ninja Maki came to Naruto and said, he wanted to see you one last time before returning to the afterlife, so when this all ends unseal him and send him off, and passed her a scroll containing Edo Tensei Haku. The war continued with Naruto and Sasuke fighting to the end. But Sasuke damaged Naruto's eyes, rendering her mostly blind, but she still see enough to finish Sasuke off. Unable to fully see him, Naruto landed a fatal blow. In his last breath, Sasuke told Sakura to place his eyes in Naruto. In Naruto, Sasuke's remained Sharingan E shifted into a second Rinnegan Eye, and Rinne Sharingan Eye formed in the center of her forehead, marking her as the next sage. The previous sage, Hagoromo, then appeared to her saying, now that this world has saved Naruto as the new sage, you will have to help another world deal with a coming crisis between three factions of non-human called Devil, Angels, and Fallen Angels, and the many other races brought into their conflicts. You will meet the gods that inspired the Sharingan Jutsu along with many others. The three warring factions inspired the major religion called Christianity, but little do the most of the factions and their founders are dead, and their generals and spawn and followers, those generals, are now in command. My cohort Yushinofus will assist you in joining and aiding the faction of your choice. Now I will send you to the world between all worlds to meet her. When I woke up I was already in Sage Mode. I guess Hagoromo left me with enough to hold Sage Mode as long as I needed to. I was floating in a space of bright colors, like looking through a kaleidoscope, with only color I could focus on was the golden aura of Sage Mode. Then Kurama asked Kurama how long I was out. Kurama boomed in with, "Not long. Father told me that only two beings should be here right now besides us, the Dragon's Office and the Great Red. If we run or float into the Great Red, don't stare at him, it will just piss him off. Father also said no matter the form Office takes, don't refer to it using condescending names. Office is older than even the Shinju. Father said that the Shinju may have been formed from a part of the Great Red or Office. Father speculated, but neither one gave him a clear answer. I floated in the colorful void for a few more minutes, wondering what a real dragon looks like. I have seen lots of jutsu meant to look like dragons, but never had seen a real living dragon. Maybe Hagoromo, Kagaya, Asura or Indra dragons when they were creating the jutsu. All ninja used, or maybe humans of the past saw them and decided to make jutsu that looked like the dragons they saw. I once asked the Toad Elders what all the summon contracts were. He lists off contracts for animals I have heard of and some for animals I never heard of, one being dragon, but not many had reached the land of dragons and returned alive. The snake sages that advanced to far enough level would call themselves Dragon sages, but never contracted real dragons. I consulted Kurama about it, but neither she nor Mito or Mother ran into dragons or dragon contractors in their time on the earth full of ninjas and chakra. After floating for what felt like hours, I saw a girl in a frilly black dress covered a bow on the rear, a purple accessory on his head, a white skirt, and an open from section with I will reveal contents of the note and everything else Naruto needs to know. Next chapter, Valley will help her learn thing about the DXD world for the first while as a favor to Office. The chapter will start with Naruto's POV, then Haku's POV, then Valley's POV, then back to Naruto's POV if I have time. Like it said, don't expect it anytime soon. I will write on my days off work, and I want to get a chapter of Fate Sword that severs evil done next. Then after that, GX Queen of Games. Then I will write the next chapter of this. The main story will pick up at the end of Season 1. Wait for it. Peerage and more info updated. Naruto Peerage and info. There will be more romance and comedy than action. Take pity on Issei. Naruto hates perverts. All pieces are mutation pieces. King Naruto. Naruto will have all Sage Elemental. Rasen Jutsu and all Sharingan and Rinnegan Jutsu. Another power is she can turn Zabuza, Tobamaru, Zabuza, and last few pieces into path forms. Queen Haku he will have fiction canceller. It can cancel any magic, jutsu more so other dragons. The gear will have a dragon seal inside. Haku will compare his dragon to Kuruma. Haku can also use Sanbon for acupuncture. Haku can still use his ice powers but has to turn off his gear to do so. Haku is also second medic. Rook X2 Nagato Rinnegan teacher to Naruto de age to 16 to relive his childhood. Bishop 1. Bishop 2 Tobarama Senju he will have an even wide R variety of skills. His cover will be his school physics teacher. Knight 1. Knight 2 Neji. Pawn X3 Itachi Sharingan teacher for Naruto also de age to 16 for same reason as Nagato. Pawn X2 Zabuza will take the role as Naruto's butler, bodyguard. Pawns 6 to 8. Naruto will use ICHA series in her parents and Jiraiya's money for prime income. The ICHA series will start have 4 novels out at start of the story as well as Legend of Gutsy Ninja. One of the novels will be one written by Naruto and Anko. The ICHA series will be very popular with the pervert trio and many other characters. Chapter 2. The letter Naruto Pav. I picked up the letter and read it. Dear new sage brat, this is Ophis. I sent you to this world in the form of your choice as a devil. Your cover story is you were sent to the ninja world as a baby and grew up in that world. Since your fox friend would be considered a yokai as this world, we will keep that part about him being sealed into you. You were naked because see, loaths get destroyed inside the dimension gap unless you have a special aura such as sage mode, and when I turned you into a devil you passed out and your cloths went with it, but don't worry about that. I had your sizes checked by a female friends of mine and had the drawers and closet to the right side of your room stocked with cloths that will fit you and the ones on the left side with cloths that fit Haku. I had this house bought for you with 1/3 of the stock of gold from your world. Another 1/3 of the gold has sold for this country's money and the rest is in a vault under your house with just the 1/3 left. You could be considered the 50th richest person in the world. When I revived Haku I asked if there was a person he wanted to revive. It has his former mentor Zabuza, so Haku used a pawn piece to revive him. He is already living at the far end of the house and his job will be as a gym teacher at the school you will be going to. He hates the Aikaicha series books and its readers with a passion. He knows you and Haku could be considered his new masters and will not go into your room to see your Aikaicha books, so don't worry about that. I already set a deal to sell Aikaicha series to international publishers with all proceeds going to the same bank account I put your money in. The deal was set up 6 months ago in this world's time. Time passed much faster in Kugaya's world and the gap, so the books are international bestsellers with both male and female perverts worldwide and is most popular in this country. The country you are in is called Japan. Its past was much like He ninja world you came from, with language more or less like the language of the elemental nations. It has expanded due to additions from the other nations of this world. You won't have to learn these new words since I added the knowledge of this world to your evil pieces, so you and anyone else you revive will have knowledge of basic stuff in this world. You will still have to learn about the culture and such. You won't have to worry about understanding the other languages of this world since your devil powers come with the gift to speak and understand all languages. I gave you a large Western-style house that can house at least 30 if needed. It also comes with a pool, weight room and training dojo. Also all the rooms are well insulated so you can be as loud as you want and not disturb anyone else. It turns out Haku was born with a sacred gear that would have never woke up on its own. Your world, even with Edo Tensei, the gear also came with a dragon inside of it, so he will have a voice in his head much like your fox. I have never met this dragon, so I can't tell you if he is a pervert like your foxy friend. From what I know he might not even know his own name. Do have been in your world even before ninjutsu was taught. I have sent a friend of mine to help you for a day or so. He should be waiting in your living room with Zabuza when you and Haku get up. So don't take too long. Greet him after reading this. I put the letter down and went over to the dress to see what cloths that little dragon got for me. I wanted to get this done at least. There will be another much longer chapter tomorrow dealing with Naruto and Haku going into town with Valley. The chapter will start with the comedy of Naruto dealing with the cloths that one of Ophis' followers bought for Naruto. Zabuza will Be the gym teacher from hell and make the pervert trio hate him. Issei will try and perv on Naruto with disastrous results. I will leave all the readers of Ikaicha series a surprise the next chapter. We'll have lots of info dumping. Naruto will get her peerage and use then in the chapter after the next one. Naruto is on a tear above even the Saiyans. Chapter 3. Chapter 3 New World New City Normal Speech. Jutsu, Spell. Dragon, Biju, Familiar. Naruto Pav. I went over to the dresser to try and find some underwear for myself. After checking through the drawers I found several pairs of panties, mostly pinka. ND black all lacy throng type panties and no bras. I guess I could make do with no bra until this valley person tells us where underwear shops are. The panties were nice but tighter than I was used to. Why guess as they were the kind for showing off to your boyfriend or husband or customer like the girls in the brothel I had to dig pervy sage out of. I quickly slipped on a black pair because I hated he color pink. The only way I could stand the color was on. Haku Pav. A few moments earlier. I was in a dream or what felt like a dream, and before me was a giant lizard-like beast with shining golden scales, 4 legs, 2 large wings, a long tail. A crocodile-like head with 2 ram-like horns and 2 large bat wings on its back. The beast spoke to me without moving its mouth. At long last my host graces me. With his presence even death and that blasted Edo Tensei couldn't wake me up, but you were with me now. This must be the world I came from. I sense the white dragon in the area and the red dragon not much farther. I look at the beast and address him, Mr. Lizard. Who or what are you? I have never seen anything like you. The closest thing to you was Zabuza-sama's water dragon jutsu. The beast said again, with no mouth movement. I am a dragon and it has been so long since I was awake I no longer know my name. With time I might remember it or even see one that I like in the world wider world. You are my host Haku Yuki. I have known you since before your birth, and like the other 2 heavenly dragons I am bound to your soul until you pass on to the next world. My new vessel Haku, my boy, you are alive but not as a human, as a devil. The girl you met on the battlefield is your new master and king, as you are her queen. What do you mean by devil and queen and king? I asked. The unnamed dragon replied, with, you are no longer Edo Tensei or human. Devils are creatures of sin and of magic. You are Edo Tensei human, into the human known as the Sage of the 6 Paths unsealed you in the Ouroboros dragon. Ophis revived you using the second piece in the set. It also used to turn Naruto into a devil. She is your king, as in king chess piece or shogi piece, and you are her queen chess shogi piece, meaning you are her direct subordinate. You will protect her from all harm and support her in all she does. As a devil you are stronger than you were as a human, more so during the night than the day. I was first sent to your world to help control the god tree Shinju or 10 tails beasts. Your past incarnation freed himself from the prison with my power and helped Hagoromo and Hamura Otsutsuki defeat and seal Kagaya and the 10 tails. I was meant to aid Sasuke and her, but sadly we were sealed in that scroll. Her friends aided her in our place. Now it is time to wake and meet your king. I then asked the girl, you are Naruto, right? She slipped on the pants and grabbed a belt to make sure the pants didn't fall and slipped that one as well, then said, of course I am Dadbane. Damn, I thought I got rid of that tick. It has been 4 years. Good to see you Haku, and sorry for the scream. We are kinda married, so seeing me naked is okay. I mostly saw you naked. Please put some cloths on yourself while I turn around. I looked down at myself to see a sheet with the only thing covering my own naked body. She tossed a pair of red boxers with hearts on them, a pair of black pants and green t-shirt at me, gesturing at me to put them on and turn around. I quickly threw the cover off of myself and put all the cloths on myself. Naruto asked, are you decent? I replied with yes, Naruto-sama. Now let's try and find our way to the living room. There are people we have to meet, she said as she dragged me to who knows where. Valley Pav. A few hours before, Ophis told me to buy this house for some friends. She wouldn't tell me who they were, just that helping them as part of a 1,000-year-old favor that she simply couldn't refuse. She gave me a huge chest of gold, saying that it would cover it, those Japanese real estate pay. Opal had never seen that much gold in their lives. They even did all the paperwork themselves. I told them put everything under Naruto Uzumaki came. The next order Ophis gave was to get a few sets of Loads for a teenage boy and a teenage girl, and handed me 2 sets of measurements. I sent Lefay and Kuroka to get cloths for the girl and Baiko and Arthur to get cloths for the boys. I handed each team a bag of gold and said get 4 sets of cloths, a king-sized Tempur-Pedic bed, 19 queen-sized Tempur-Pedic beds, enough couches to sit at least 20, a large kitchen table, a large fridge and 20 of the latest computers. The house has a few TVs and a theater room already, so TVs aren't needed. I hoped for the girls' sake Kuroka wouldn't get anything too sultry, but it was Kuroka, so I didn't have much hope. Oh, Fize gave me one last order after the house was set up and she moved 2 residents in from the dimensional gap. I saw her in the living room of the house reviving a tall and noticeably muscular man with pale skin, short spiky black hair, brown eyes, and small eyebrows, wearing bandages on his face like a mask, a headband with a metal plate with 4 dashes like symbols on it, only a belt. Holding a very large sword to his back, wearing baggy pants with the striped pattern typical and mimetic wrist warmers extending up to his elbows, with matching leg warmers. She said that his name was Zabuza Momochi and he was Naruto's first pawn. Ophis then left back to the dimension gap with Zabuza in my care. I gave the man the whole "he is a devil" speech that I gave my team when I revived them and told his W.8 for his master to greet us, then he could pick his room. After I finished giving Zabuza that spiel, Albion popped into the front of my mindscape to chat with me and said, "Valley, the boy and girl O." Fize brought with her a very strong, I would say the girl is a Satan class at least if not stronger, and the boy he holds the lost heavenly dragon, one that left before the great war that God and your ancestor died in. All I remember about his was gold and could cancel out all supernatural powers. The golden dragon of the void was said to have been the dragon that created the 4 saint beasts. We must be away for him because that dragon can reverse both ours and the red dragon wielder's powers. If those 2 become our enemies, we would last 20 minutes tops. Shortly after my chat with Albion, Zabuza stared at me like I was crazy. He asked, "Who were you talking to?" I told him, "Let's say I am like Naruto in a way, and now your apprentice. We all have friends you can't see in us." Then we were greeted by a boy with long black hair in suit pants and a t-shirt, and a girl with blonde hair, whisker marks on her face and a near matching outfit to the boy. It is oblivious she hated the cloths Oka got for her and took some of the cloths bought for the boy. I took another look at the girl and saw her eyes. They were light purple with rings throughout them. Those eyes, I have never seen a devil, angel, or any other being with eyes like those. Her aura felt like God, devil and Yukai all in one. I almost wanted to bow at her sheer power. Naruto Pav. In the living room I was greeted by a teenage boy with gray hair, a black jacket with a green shirt under it and red pants. Greeted me and said his name was Valley and he wouldn't give me his family name for now. Both Zabuza and Valley sat on one of the many couches in the room and told us to sit in one directly across from him while we discuss things. Right before I sat, Kurama butted in. "Haku has something in him, but so does that boy in front of us. They are very similar. If I had to say, they are genuine dragons. Haku had his dragon since the last time we met him, but it was asleep. His dragon wasn't ready till Kagaya came out, and it may have awake a little from within the seal but couldn't break itself out. Father told me about a boy with a dragon that helped him defeat the 10 tails once." Valley started by handing me my pouch and had all my remaining kunai. Shuriken, 12 Horaishin kunai, and 13 golden-colored pieces. Valley responded with, "Before you ask, the last pieces are your set of evil piece. I won't explain these evil piece system to you. No, we don't have time unless you don't want a guided tour of the town." I decided to go with the tour since we already had somebody at school that could explain what each piece does. I already know they can bring my dead friends to life as devils in this world. I can learn what each piece can do later. Before leaving, Valley handed Zabuza a shirt because a giant of a man already stands out. A shirtless one with a good body would stand out even worse. Our first stop was a grocery store. All Valley let us do see what each row had in them. The store had foods I could never imagine and chip flavors so varied and numerous, just naming all of them would make choji cream his pants, and ramen varieties that almost made me wet. Our next stop was something we never had in our world, video game and DVD store. Heck, our world was still on VHSs. Valley told us those have been out of date for 20 years. Again, Valley wouldn't let us stop to buy anything. The third stop was a book depot. We got a Brief look. Valley told me that my books were in the back behind the curtain, but again no buying. Our fourth stop was an arcade. I might check it out later but didn't even want to stop today. Our fifth stop W. As the clothing district, it had store for underwear, men's and women's cloths. I just wanted TP stop and buy a bra, but Valley shut me down saying one more stop after, then you can go back on your own. Our final stop was Kuo Academy. Valley told us that it used to be an all girls school till the Grimoire and Citri families bought it and made it for both genders so that their daughters and their male friends could go to the school. Haku and I would start as students and Zabuza would start as a gym teacher. Zabuza was against the idea until I said he would train, torture teenagers, most of which are weak and perverted. We didn't get a chance to tour the school since we could get to do that tomorrow. Before leaving, Valley gave me a wallet and told me that I use the plastic card whenever I needed money. I had so much I could buy anything I wanted and never had to worry about running out. Valley then left us to do as we pleased. Zabuza then asked me, "So what do you want me to do, master?" I had never been called master by anyone, so I just told him, "You are free, do any you want as long as you come back to me. We need you to help me with something. Heck, you don't even have to go to work at the school. If you want to, you can sit around the house and train and play those games Valley told us about and just send a shadow clone to school for you. Haku and I might just do that if school gets too boring." Our first stop after school was to get me some real cloths, not the cloths that I was supplied with. I went to the underwear store first while I sent Haku to send Zabuza a suit and some other sets of cloths for Zabuza and himself. At the underwear store I first had to be measured by the attendant. I was told I was a 39C. My size had gone up. I wasn't Hinata or Ino range yet, but not far away. I got a few sexy bras to match the panties already had, some normal bra and panty sets and a pair on panties with a frog on the butt, a pair with rabbit on the butt, and a few sports bras for training and battles. And one last set for when I was ready to get with Haku. After the underwear store I headed to the women's clothing store. I bought a lady's version of Haku's suit in black with both pants and a skirt, with a red dress and the lowest heeled shoes I could find. I also got myself an updated version of the outfit. I went to the war with a new version of my jumpsuits with shorts and pants and the standard ninja war outfit for myself as well. After I was done with my shopping, I checked on Haku and Zabuza. They bought a few suits for themselves as well as a kimono for Haku and standard Kiri ninja outfits for them as well. We sealed all of the cloths in a scroll and headed to the grocery store to stock up on food for as long as needed. I bought every flavor of ramen they had along with every flavor of chips in case I meet up with Choji again. I also got a few 100 pounds of rice, some of the top sushi I could get, a larger variety of fruits, vegetables and meats as well. I told the store to try and get me some Kobe beef at a later date. By the time we were done, it was night and we headed home. The way I sensed someone following us. It turned out to be someone that looked like a man, but his aura felt like something inhuman. In appearance he looked think someone from the hidden cloud village with no hair on his head and a black business suit. He said, "I am Kamiel, a fallen angel, and I came to check out the new devils in the area." He then threw a chakra spear at us. Good for us and bad for him. We are trained ninja and could dodge the chakra spear with ease. He followed up with making a light bow and shooting a barrage of light arrows, most of which we dodged with ease but took a few skin-breaking wounds from them. With the next barrage, Haku's hand was covered in a golden claw-like full-arm glove, which he raised into the air and made all the spears vanish into nothing. I then changed into Sage mode and the named Fallen Angel with Storm and Magma Rasengans instantly vaporizing the named Fallen Angel. Our battle was being watched by a boy that felt just like Haku and Valley but much weaker. After the battle he came up to us and said his name was Issei Hayato and he is a devil. I told him we are the same and we come from a small village of ninjas. The base knowledge of Japan the evil pieces gave us told us that there were ninjas in this world and there still may be. Oh, if he is stupid he would believe us hook, line and sinker. Stupid he was and believe us he did. His uniform was from Kuo Academy, so I told him we were starting tomorrow and we would discuss details after school with him and the other devils there then. After our chat with Issei we headed home, unsealed and put all our goods away, and went to sleep in our own rooms, Haku sleeping by my side. So, ends chapter 3. The next chapter will start will Issei pause of the battle and then go over Haku, Naruto and Zabuza first day at Ku along with their meeting with Rias and Sona. I will deal with the FA. Court Issei is both attracted to and scared of Naruto and Haku and will hate Zabuza after his first gym class with him. Naruto and Haku will be second years and when they join Neji will be a third year and Itachi and Nagato will be first years since they choose to age themselves they won't show up till chapter 4 at least. Haku's dragon will also get a formal name in chapter 4. The Fallen Angel Kamiel is from the 2006 ABC Family miniseries Fallen. Naruto didn't use her Rinnegan powers because she hasn't mastered them yet. She will learn them after she revives Nagato and Sharingan powers after she revives Itachi. Naruto's other pieces should be revealed in later chapters as she will get an extra back row piece. Another thing I will go over is how chess and shogi differ, so expect lots of info dumping next chapter. When the chapter will be I can't say for sure, I am thinking the week after Christmas. Preview. I am planning my next FIC, it will be a Naruto X Avatar, Legend of Korra crossover. Main pairing Naruto x Haku. The working title is 2 avatars. I will go into full details in Preluge. There will be 5 main elements over 4 elements, the hybrid styles. Naruto and Haku will both be avatars 1W. I'll be the light one will be the dark avatar, but they will be both good. Having both Vachu and Rava splits Korra's soul after her death, and the Legend of Korra world will become the Naruto world. This will become my main FIC Preluge Christmas Day. My main schedule will be 2 avatars Christmas Day the week after Sage Devil. After that more of 2 avatars Queen of Games. Then 2 avatars again. The other main fix will be up for adoption if anyone wants to adopt them, if not I will write when I have time. Chapter 4 School and Peerages. Chapter 4 School and Peerages. This is after Season 1 but before the Holy Swords arc. The Holy Swords arc will take place in a few chapters before that. Riser will make a return. Warning: info dumping. This chapter will go into chess and shogi as well as what each evil piece does. I was thinking of making Naruto pieces revive like Rinne Tensei, can't restore removed parts, but I decided it will be a combination of both. Naruto will get 2 pieces added to her peerage. Normal speech jutsu, spell. Dragon, Biju, familiar. Issei Pa of Time is Naruto's battle. I was riding my bike home from a request, when Didrag alerted. Halt Issei, I sense the 3rd heavenly dragon, the lost dragon. He was gone until yesterday, now is back stirring. He host and master are fighting a fallen angel, we should go and check them out. Not just dragon's host but said host's master could top even the Great Red in time. I then rode my bike towards the dragon gear wielder. I saw a boy about my age with long dark hair and prettier than Kiba. Next to him was a giant of a man, at least in 6 feet 6 inches tall. He see old be a basketball player in the NBA or a prize fighter in. After the battle the girl called out to me with, "Hey pervert, you can come out of there and chat with us." The girl then dropped her aura to reveal the 3rd eye and horns vanishing. She was clad in an orange and black jumpsuit that hugged her curves. She still had the same strange eyes and her hair was long and blonde. Her face had 6 whisker like marks on it. She seemed very fox-like. The girl introduced herself as Naruto Uzumaki and the boy as Haku Yuki and the large man as Zabuza Momochi. She said they were new devils to the area and recognized my uniform and said Haku and herself were going to Ku and students and Zabuza as a teacher. I hoped I won't. When I got home and before going to bed I called Rias about these new devils. It seemed like they were a king, queen or 8 pawns, and another piece and not stray devils. Rias asked to meet this peerage the next day after school. I asked Didrag what he could be me about this dragon. Didrag explained the dragon left before the devil and 3 factions wars to help another world with its own war and world not know of the fates of the 3 factions. The big detail about this dragon was he may have helped both China and Japan and spawned the 4 saint beasts and even the Chinese zodiac. The dragon's main powers seem to be anti-light powers, or so it seems. What other powers are to be seen? I went to sleep after reading a few pages of my new favorite book Aikaicha Paradise. I saw other books in the series but haven't got a chance to read them. Aikaicha Domination seemed more like some thing Akino's speed. If she hasn't already started reading it, I both wondered if she read said book and feared if she would try what secrets the book contained on me or Kiba. With those last thoughts I let sleep take me. When I arrived at school I spotted Rias on the way. She was talking to Akino about my new friends. Rias ended deciding I would bring them since I met them before and they would trust me the most. When class started, the teacher informed the class we would be getting 2 new students, Naruto and Haku. Naruto looked very cute in her uniform, clearly blushing and practically sending a message that, if my pervert friends or I stare at her, I will rip of all your cocks. I forwarded the message to the other members of my trio through a note. The girls were fawning over Haku even worse. Even they did Kiba, but Haku was all Naruto, like the other girls didn't exist to him. His entire world was Naruto and maybe Zabuza. Naruto's eyes weren't the purple orbs from last night but baby blues. Magic made the most sense for the change. During the class break, all the girls asked Haku on dates. After the 5th date request, Naruto informed the class of something that broke all the girls and Matsuda's and Motohama's hearts. That she and Haku were married, meaning Haku was taken, and if the girls even thought anything dirty about Haku, it would be bad. Naruto paused before class. I told the teacher had the truth about Haku and I being married, and that I didn't want everyone else in class to know unless I wanted to know. He was okay as long as we didn't do anything unnecessary in class. As we enter Ed class, the few boys and a few girls took a liking to me. I made sure to send some killer intent Issei's way after feeling his perverted emotions that should make sure I don't get perved on, but with evil of perversity coming off of him, he could be a second coming of Jiraiya, and with Jiraiya it took lots of Tsunade beatings, and that didn't even correct him. I will have to get creative on this issue. Last proceeded as normal till the first break. A few of the girls asked Haku for dates. Seeing those girls try made something come over me, I think as was love and jealously. It made me wonder how mom got the fangirls off dad. My option was easy, just spill the beans that we are married. I could tell it broke all the girls' hearts, but it should keep them off him. I would have to get rings at some point. Our next class was gym time to see what Zabuza does to these civilians. Most of the students didn't make it halfway through class. Issei must have had some things because he lasted 3/4 of the way. Haku was slightly winded and I wasn't even tired. This is a morning workout for me. I have to have Zabuza give me another one of those before bed. The basic knowledge given by the piece let me understand basics of the content, but Haku and I would need to have clones study for use at night. After class, Issei told Haku and I to come with him get Zabuza along the way. The place Issei brought us to be another part of the school called the Occult Research Club. Inside the club room we were greeted by 4 girls and 1 boy. The first girl had red hair much like mother but a little bustier, was named Rias Grimori. The second girl had long black hair with a bust that topped Tsunade named Akano Himahima. The third girl had light blonde hair with a bust about Sakura's size, was named Asia Argento. The last girl was super short and cute, had white hair and felt just like Matabi. The two-tailed cat Biju was named Kaneko Tuju, and lastly the boy had blonde hair with roughly my shade of blonde hair named Yuto Kiba. Rias greeted me with, "Who you are and what clan are you from to have powers like those?" I explained, "I am a pure-blooded devil from 2 pretty much extinct families that came as my father's clan with He power of high-speed teleport, and my mother is the Bathan clan with mimic abilities. Both were sent to another version of Earth where they took on the traits of the locals and the laws of the world. Ang their magic networks to chakra networks. My mother even had a giant 9-tail fox Yukai sealed into her, which is later sealed into me. The traits she copied plus my tenant are half the source of my powers. The other source is the eyes of a one-time boyfriend. I said as I changed my eyes from their baby blue form to full Rinnegan form. This is Haku, my queen. He is like Issei and Valley in the fact all 3 have dragon sacred gear. He came from the same world as my parents and myself. His dragon was asleep till he came. I rose him from a what would be called a zombie to a devil. He also has ice Nari, but he can't use them and his sacred gear at the same time. My other current piece is Zabuza. I used 2 pawns to revive him. I haven't used any other pieces because I really don't know what they do. Or how this chess game differs from my world's version of chess called shogi. Rias explained. First is the king piece. It merges with the one leader of the peerage and merges with their other pieces if they were in another peerage. Second is the queen. It was the traits of the bishop, knight, and rook pieces. Queens usually go in either magic or physical combat form but can go both. Third is bis. Hop. This piece specializes in magic and gives user magical boost. You get 2 bishops and each is worth 3 pawns. The fourth piece is rook. It specializes in physical strength and defense. You have 2 of those as well and they are worth 5 pawn. The fifth piece is the knight. It gives speed and movement boost but has low defense. Again you have 2 and each is worth 3 pawns. You last piece is the pawn. It gives no real boasts unless the user's in enemy territory, then the user can gain traits of any one piece for each pawn used. You can use matching pieces of the same kind. Revive a person if one isn't enough. For example, for Issei I used 8 pawns. To explain how chess and shogi differed, we played a few teaching games. Chess has a few different pieces than shogi with less complex rules. After 5 games I figured it out and beat Rias in 50 games straight. I explained to Rias, "I can't tell you who gave me my set of pieces, but that person said they are all mutation pieces. What mean?" Rias explained mutation pieces have higher value than normal pieces. I also explained my pieces can revive people from the ninja world that are already dead. With the knowledge of the piece I decided to try and use them. The 2 people I trusted most that could teach me how to use my new eyes. I held set bag and did the Rinne Tenshi hand signs over them that filled thoughts of Nagato and Itachi. Itachi's Edo Tenshi body appeared, and 3 pawns entered his body. Then it shifted to about age 13 to 15 with full eternal Mangekyo Sharingan eyes. The same thing happened with Nagato, but 2 rook pieces went into him and Nagato was also reduced to a 13 to 15-year-old as well. I asked Rias why the pieces turned grown men into teens. Rias responded, "This does happen, it rarely does. Devil can change forms to one that they want. They must have wanted to go to school with you as students over teachers." Quote, Rias Pav, "This girl is very troubling and maybe too powerful for a devil. Camiel was known for hunting and killing 120 high-class devils and this girl and boy killed him with ease. Another heavenly dragon is also troubling. Plains walking just makes it worse. She might be able to challenge brother. I won't tell him till I can confirm how strong this girl really is. A set of all mutation pieces that can pull people from other worlds as pieces is even worse. If she is powerful enough and proves big enough treat, I will have to tell brother and the other 3 Satans." Itachi Pav. A few hours later, Naruko's house. The basic knowledge with peace gave me told me I am in a different world and not human anymore, and for some reason I have eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Maybe it is due to Shisui's eye or this new form. I feel stronger at night and twilight. Not sure how I will do during the day. I can feel something on my back and by channeling chakra to it I grow wings. My biggest worry about high school is fangirls. I didn't think of these much in the academy because I was so young when I got out. Nagato Pav. Same time, I was ready to try and be a mostly normal teen. My teen years were the time Konan, Yahiko, and I trained with the Jiraiya, then forming the first Akatsuki group before Obito and Madara turned my dream into something evil. The thing that scares me is these fangirls. Itachi talked about the busty black hair girl had an evil look on her face. No, I can't show my real eyes or use my gravity powers in front of normal people. The blonde girl and the white hair girl look normal enough. The white hair girl reminds me of Conan. I should get used to this younger body and enjoy living with the cousin or niece. Having living family will be nice. Naruko Pav. Reviving 2 people at once took a lot out of me. No wonder Nagato died for the first time after reviving all of Konoha. I shouldn't go more than 1 revive a week. I should also try to get a peerage member from this world, an angel, devil or fallen angel, to join for members from the ninja world. Neji would be a perfect knight, maybe the 1st or 2nd Hokage as bishops, and may be mom and dad back. Trying to get Haku in bed would be awkward with them, but being a family would be nice. With that I fell into a deep sleep with Haku at my side. The side pairings will be Zabuza x Rosweiss, Nagato x Kaneko, Itachi x Zenova, and Neji x last peerage member. The next chapter of this will be 2 weeks from now. I will have 2 avatars. Chapter 1 next week. It will go into Haku's and Naruko's early lives. Naruko won't end up meeting the 4 Satans till the 3 factions meeting. I am planning on Naruko maybe becoming the 5th Satan. Be behemoth. I didn't feel like going into a deep shogi versus chess rule set because I couldn't find a brief one. Haku will freeze Issei at least once for peeking. I also plan on having Naruko join the Kendo club to practice sword skills. There will also be Rinnegan and Sharingan training for Naruko next chapter. Neji will join Naruko next chapter. After that Naruko will have a rating game. Chapter 5. Chapter 5 Training, First Times, and Peerage Growth. Biju Dragon, Jutsu, Spell Yelling. Normal Speech. Naruko Pav. I has been a week since I revived Itachi and Nagato. Both have been training me in their ocular jutsu. I have got Amaterasu, Human Path and Diva Path down P. And I am working on my Kenjutsu or sword skills, so I decided to test my skills on the girls' Kendo club. My technique wasn't that good but my power and speed gave me the advantage. After giving most of the girls rough beatings, 1 or 2 felt like devils and lasted 2 minutes over most of the other girls 30 seconds. We took showers only to have pervert trio peep on us. I felt them coming BEF. Or they got close and called Haku through our peerage link. Haku came right before they got a good look at me. Haku Pav. Naruto called me through our peerage link about Issei, Matsuda, and Motohama Ha. Ving intention to peep on her while the Kendo club in her shower they shall not peep. The only one that gets to Naruto-sama naked will be me, I said out loud and headed toward Naruto's presence. I arrived in front the Kendo club room to see the trio looking through a hole in the wall at the girls showering. I asked them, did you get to see my Naruto-sama? Matsuda and Motohama nodded no and Issei nodded yes and said, only for a second, as I filled the area with killing intent. I responded with, a second is too much for anyone but me. I will make sure you can't use that image to please yourself tonight. I formed a few ice needles between my fingers and hit Matsuda and Motohama in pressure points to erase short-term memory and Issei in the memory point and a point make it so. He can't get an erection for 3 weeks or was it a month. I never really used that point before. He should be able to get an erection again I think. Naruto Pav. I felt Haku dispatch the trio, finished my shower and left the Kendo club to see the trio standing behind the shower section in a daze like they were drugged. Haku really did a number on them. I will have to ask him what he did to them on the way home. I walked a short distance to see Haku waiting for me at the school gate and Ninja ran home. Before leaving we heard the trio screaming from getting smacked by kendo sticks. The only thing that made the beating less painful than it would be is that the girls were tired from fighting me. On the way we were joined by Zabuza, Nagato and Itachi. Nagato told me that the small white hair girl was acting all funny around him, stuttering and fidgeting in his presence. Kaneko must have a crush on Nagato. Right when we got home I decided to do another revival. I did the proper hand signs, filled my head with Neji. Neji's dead body appeared before me and the night piece entered him bringing him to life as a devil. Neji's eyes opened. He did a double take and relived where he was alive and in another world. I felt extremely tired and asked Haku to make dinner for everyone as I lied down waiting for my chakra to regenerate. Haku cooked dinner for all of us and we ate. I did 500 push-ups and went to sleep. Haku Pav. I didn't feel like reading the book at home for risk of Zabuza or the other boys seeing me, so at school it was, there are more places to kind at school if needed. The first place I tried was the occult research clubroom, but Asia came in and I was forced to hide until she left. My second try was on the roof but again interrupted again, this time by Kaneko. She was harder to shake off. I told her to book was for time with Naruto, but got her off me by mentioning her crush Nagato. That turned her face bright red and her body and speech patterns into shaking, stuttering and babbling. I knew it. She does have a crush on Nagato, but Nagato is even more clueless than me. I guess Jiraiya didn't teach Nagato and his friends like he did Naruto. Chapter 6. Chapter 6 Fox plus Dragon vs Phoenix. The big thing you need to know is Naruto and her peerage will be holding back. I will also be introducing a light-based Yang Chakra Amaterasu and the basic Amaterasu is dark-based Yin Chakra Yang L. It will be strong versus devils and Yin dark will be strong versus angels and fallen. Also Haku will use a new version of Demon Ice Mirrors to make an ice maze. Normal speech jutsu, spell Naruto Pav. Risers. Pieces were as followed. Mira first pawn master of fighting staff with balls tipping each end. Sharia second pawn hand-to-hand fighter, no idea what she can do, was taken out early in her last rating game. Barent third pawn cowgirl made another hand-to-hand fighter. Marion fourth pawn another hand-to-hand fighter. Ni and Lee fifth and sixth pawns catgirl hand-to-hand fighters. Il and Nell seventh and eighth pawns twin loli chainsaw fighters. Shuailin first rook fighting style like Guy and Rock Lee. Isabella second rook masked punk rocker chick another hand-to-hand fighter. Cyrus first knight, she had a sword much like Zabuza's Kubikiribocho, just not as special. Carlamine second knight mid-length sword with armor covering her top half. Mahai first bishop, no real data fell before showing off her skills. Ravel Phoenix, second bishop. Riser's little sister same power set as Riser just weaker. Ubeluna queen master of fire and explosive magic. and lastly the king Riser Phoenix, master of fire, wind and nearly immortal so same as me. After wind and QB training minus the sage part. As one with most to lose I got to pick the battlefield, a modified forest of death, minus the monsters and with 2 tree houses over 1. Rias Pav. I what? Shed the battle Naruto picked and fenced in forest she called training ground 44. Most have been from the village Naruto grew up in perfect for ninjas not so much for Riser's group. Riser's first move was to have Ubeluna blow an huge hole in the forest to level the playing field. Naruto responded by sending her single bishop and our new history teacher, Hiruzen Sarutobi shot her from the sky Th dragon heads shooting fire and dirt balls from a tree branch. Then Naruto's pawn, Itachi Uchiha took her out by staring at her, making her convulse in pain and fall over her face looked like she was being raped over and over. Ubeluna fade away in defeat and Grafia, the judge of the rating game announced Riser Phoenix queen defeated. Amazing with her first move Naruto removed the air superiority. Time more experienced devils have over new devils had. Naruto's second move made the field even more uneven, her Queen Haku made a maze of solid ice, and her pawn filled the field with a think mist. The maze completely covered Naruto's half of the field leaving no way to get to Naruto's base as to get through Hiruzen's anti-air dragons or brave Haku's ice maze. Riser's next move was to try and have Vel melt the maze from the ice but before she could, Hiruzen made water dragon cannon and shot her out the air. I could feel Riser's frustration and see stream from him trying to get rid of the mist. Riser's next try was to send his pawns into the maze one by one each pawn was taken out another stream cloud. I could tell Naruto's plan at this point it was to piss Riser off and throw him of his game. Riser's next move has to have his 2 rooks break the maze with sheer power but Naruto's rook Nagato was a double rook and caught them around the first corner sending them out of the maze with a telekinesis or gravity attack. Nagato exited the maze, changed his hand into a machine gun and blasted Mahai where she stood all that was left was Riser and Revel. Riser was on his last straw he unleashed all of his rage and melted down the maze this it didn't come back Naruto didn't need it anymore. Gone was the rest of Naruto's peerage and the only one standing where the maze stood was Naruto herself. Her other piece weren't defeated just hiding in the forest. Naruto stood there and asked, which eye do you want right or left? Since there are 2 of you I will flip and coin the winner gets to pick. Before Naruto could pull out a coin Revel decided to attack. Naruto said, since you came from the right eye you get right eye. Amaterasu. As Naruto said that a white flame came from her right eye burning, yes burning Revel. First went her cloths with burns all over her skin. Revel retired no longer able to stand the pain. Naruto's flame must have had holy element added to them. Naruto sigh. Looks like you get the left eye Riser, Tsukiyomi. Riser then started to convulse in pain just like Ubeluna did before Riser passed out on the ground in an unmoving heap. Grafia then said, Riser Phoenix King defeated Naruto came wins. Unbelievable Naruto won a battle outnumbered without losing a single piece. Next we all met in Naruto's house, as Riser woke up Naruto said, as per our deal we trade piece my 3 pawn for your sister Revel. Naruto threw the pieces at Riser, those pawns are mutation pieces. As consolation, so trade or go back into the Jordan River. Riser asked, how did you know was I gone in my dream? Naruto responded with, I put you there it is genjutsu or illusion technique I inserted my chakra into your brain your amygdala to be precise. It made your mind experience your worst fear over and over for days or weeks on end with time under the caster's control. So days of torment over minutes of time and weeks of torment over hours, as easy as I took you out I can poo you back in and any longer in that nightmare world you might not wake up. Riser grunted and said, okay Revel the trade is made go with her, she is your new king now. Naruto said, that was a fun game. Maybe next time with more train you can make my peerage and I go more than 10%. Unreal that show of power was only 10% of what Naruto and her peerage can. Do I fear what she could do at full force or even half power? If she proves that much stronger I will have to tell brother and the other Satans. Naruto Pav. Revel was still stunned reeling from her burns as show of good faith as the newest member of my peerage I healed her burns. She asked sadly, why did you choose me over more pawns or another piece? I responded with, politics, you know pureblood politics work at least better than I do. My parents and I grew up in a world with different politics and rules. I need to know how they work. There is only one rule, you can't go after Nagato or Haku. Nagato is my in with Rias peerage and the Yukai factions through Kaneko, and Haku is my husband. Your pick is Itachi or Neji for dating unless you like older guys. I don't care who you pick. I gave Ravel some ramen or dinner and said get some sleep tomorrow, we get you closer to my and the rest of the peerage level. You will hate me more than you may hate me at this point, but when we build you up you will be a lean, mean and bustier fighting machine. Ravel cried through her meal and cried herself to sleep, fearing the coming training. Haku and I had a more pleasant night as we made love and then got our 5 hours of sleep. Tomorrow I would get to play drill sergeant with Ravel. End of chapter. Ravel with suffer as a lot through training. Next chapter Naruto will get the last members her peerage and the main season 2 story will start. But Hat is in 2 weeks. Next week is the new version of the Grail War 1. I'm planning on more blending more than just Marvel Cinematic Universe. I will hint at some elements near the end of that chapter. Chapter 7. Chapter 7 Boot Camp and Family. This right before Season 2 Naruto gets to go sadist drill sergeant mode on Ravel, Issei, Asia and Akano along with Naruto's main peerage will train in more revivals. Haku Pav. Naruto was getting gun-ho about training her new peerage member along with the rest of us expect for the third Hokage, but Rias and Sona sent some other members for her to train after seeing her rating game versus Riser. They sent Saji, Issei, Akano, Gasper, and Asia for training with us. Naruto bought an United States Army uniform and drill sergeant campaign had to look the part. She bought a book to help her think the part. The first few days of training made us want to thank Saji, Issei, Asia or Ravel for extra, corrective training, for their mistakes. Issei Pav. Naruto-sama, she forced us to call her. That was a hardcore taskmaster. Every mistake would be 1,000 push-ups, flutter kicks, overhead hand claps or whatever twisted punishment exercises she made us to. Most of Naruto's Pira. GE got the exercises down to pretty fast, but she made every else do them over and over. If one person's uniform wasn't right, 1,000 push-ups. If someone did one thing wrong, 1,000 flutter kicks. If someone looked at Naruto wrong, 1,000 overhead hand claps. As we got better she made us hold magic in our bodies till it hurt, then release it little by little. She gave us 5 minutes to eat every meal any longer, more exercise. We ran around the city till we threw up and got as many hours of sleep as Naruto lets us have. Sometimes it was 1 hour, other time it was 3 and others it was 45 minutes. After a few weeks with breaks only for school without being able to sleep in class, everyone felt stronger and faster. Naruto said we would need it for what is to come, whatever that means. The day after I finished training I found a photo of me with a friend. I wasn't sure of the gender, but Yuto saw a sword that made him cringe. Naruto Pav. I have been stocking extra chakra while the others were training for a G revival. Other 2 people at once, my parents Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze. I did the hand signs. My last 2 pieces rose up, called the body of my mother and Edo Tensai of my father, and pieces entered their bodies and revived them. My first reaction was to hug them. Haku Pav. Next Naruto brought in the rest of her peerage. Itachi was happy to meet his one-time Junin sensei. Hiruzen was happy to see his student and predecessor. Zabuza was stunned to meet 2 legends of the ninja world, and Neji was stunned to see the 4th Hokage in person. Ravel asked, who the hell are those people and why is there such a fuss over them? Naruto punched Ravel with a seal-laced punch and said, those are my parents' 3rd bishop. To me you are worse than a pawn to me. Bitch, you are worse than my pawns. I want you to help me with high-class family politics and maybe help me in rating games. That punch was no healing seal on it, so you will feel it as long as I want you to. When you decide to apologize to my parents and complete 7 laps around the city dragging me in a tire behind you, then I will heal you. Naruto Pav. After more corrective training for Ravel, I showed my parents their room and proceeded to my own room for lovemaking session with Haku and sleep. Ravel did do enough laps before passing out from the pain from not healing, so more laps for her tomorrow. The next day we had a short day of school, then more running for Ravel. She completed another lap and a half before passing out again. I might have to let her heal so she can finish. I decided to let her heal and finish the lapse the next day. That same night I was woken by the feeling of 4 strong yang chakra signals entering the city. I feel that things will start moving soon with these sources. Sorry for short chapter, but this week was busy for me. Next chapter will fully start the Excalibur arc in 2 weeks. Break hiatus. Till will be on break till summer. While I wait for season 3 and come up with general outline plan. Bad news. I have bad news. My laptop with all my fix I am working on bricked. I lost all my fix and my work processor as well. Until I get my laptop fixed I can't update anything. Poll and general update. Stead new poll to decide order of coming stories. Most votes will get new chapter next week. Second most gets chapter the week after or maybe later. The other topic is there might be delays to training foe. Are my new job, so I will try and get new chapter each week but might not be able to. Chapter 8. Sage Devil and the Void Dragon Emperor. Chapter 8 Vision of the Holy Blade. This will start season 2 content. I am trying for character and relationship building. Naruto and her parents and Naruto and Haku along with a few other pairs. Issei will still get a harem but it will be much smaller. The main story will cross with season 2 and 3 events but not directly cover non-main plot events. Biju Dragon. Normal speech. Naruto Pav. At the end of the day, my peerage members told me of their days. Most of them just ing out at home and trained except those who had to be in person like mom. Issei Pav. After he left I was full of jealousy while even Akano was blushing due to Haku's boldness. Kiba was even blushing, but mostly still raging over the sword he revealed to be Excalibur and also his need for revenge on Excalibur. Then he ran off into the night to try and release some of his anger. After we arrived at my house, Rias told us Kiba was part of the Holy Sword Project that gave Kiba his sacred gear. About an hour later Kiba returned covered in injuries and passing out for Asia to heal him. Naruto Pav. After Haku's shower fun, he and I went to sleep until I sensed 2 powerful energy sources that felt holy, and with a little feeling I felt another similar source. My guess is all 3 sources were once part of a larger object much like Yin Kurama and Yang Kurama divided but still felt the same. My next move was to wake up Neji so I could have him use his Byakugan to get a better idea what these holy wielders have and what they look like. My powers can sense intent but not tell form. When I asked Neji he said, "Yes, let me see." His text move was to activate his eyes and view. Then he said, "The furs. T2 inches holy signatures as 2 females roughly are teenagers. The source of the signature are sword-like objects. The other signature is a male about mid-20s to early 30s. The signature is also a sword and each sword has different traits but at one time were part of a whole object." Haku Pav. During the same time Neji was looking for the swords, my nameless dragon said to me, "I can tell the white dragon Emperor is beginning to move along with the trials will get more extreme. For both us and the red dragon Emperor. Due to the pact we can only infer with either the red or white dragon if either becomes a treat to the world. Your mate or your friends?" I asked my dragon. "Okay dragon, how can I get stronger?" He said, "You must tap into the emotions you buried. The dragon arm is just the first level of your power. After further training you can gain a more advanced power called Balance Breaker." I asked, "How can I gain this power?" The dragon said, "It will come when you need its power." After Neji discovered the sword users, Naruto called Sona and asked what to do about these only holy sword users. Sona told Naruto to stay out of the issue unless any of the holy sword users cause any trouble. And we went back to sleep waiting to see what these holy sword users caused. Issei Pav. After Kiba arrived back at Ria's place she told the group details of the project that gave Kiba his gear and how Kiba lost the people he thought of as family in the project. When Asia and I arrived at my house, we were greeted by my childhood friend Irina Shido, who turned out wasn't a boy but a rather busty girl with an equally busty companion named Zenobia Quarta. The next day the 2 girls came to the Orc Club room and told us they were sent by the Vatican to retrieve the fragmented sword Excalibur. They told our group the holy sword was destroyed and split into 7 pieces, 2 with them and more pieces with a third party, and said third party was in this city. After they told the Orc group about the swords, Zenobia called Asia a witch and Kiba and I were forced to fight the girls and their Excalibur swords, Excalibur Destruction and Excalibur Mimic. The battle didn't go our way and ended with both Kiba and my lose. But after our fight ended, Naruto and her group arrived with Naruto saying, "I can help find the swords you are looking for, you just have to beat 2 members of my peerage in a duel." Naruto Pav, my pay. Erich and I arrived in front of the school to see Issei and Kiba defeated by the unknown girls with the holy swords I sensed. My next move was to ask Rias what happened. Her response was, "Men defend. Ing a woman's honor and learning how weak they were." In truth, those 2 girls are from the Vatican hunting the pieces of the legendary holy sword Excalibur. The missing pieces were most likely stolen by the fallen angel Kokobile and his rogue priest followers. My response to Rias, "Okay, is that all?" Then I shouted at the church girls, "Hey girls, I have someone who can help find the other swords." The GIRLS I knew was Irina, and Zenobia perked up and came over to me, and then Zenobia said, "How can a filthy devil help us?" I came back with, "This filthy devil found another one of the swords the same day you 2 arrived. I can even tell what your swords and the other sword is. Your sword Irina can change shape and Zenovia's sword can break things, and the other sword we found has speed-based powers. If you can fight 2 members of my peerage, I will help you find them and make you ramen until you leave." The word ramen made Irina tell Zenovia, "Take the deal, we will need food since we didn't get enough nay for an extended stay or really any food." Then Zenovia said, "Deal, for this ramen food we accept." I said, "Haku, show Irina how the first fight we had went." Then I whispered in his ear, "Your ice prison jutsu should be a match for Twintail's girl's shape-shifting sword." And then I summoned Kubikiribocho and handed it to Neji, then whispered in his ear, "Get in close with this, then use your gentle fish for to win against the blue head." Using my strategy, Haku defeated Irina with mist and ice dome jutsus, and Neji locked brought Zenovia down by sealing off her nerves. The girls were amazed by Neji and Haku's fighting styles. It turned out during the recent battles Kiba escaped to find the pieces on his own. I let the girls stay in the family room of my home, sleeping on the floor in sleeping bags, and told them we will search in the morning. Issei Pav. After seeing Naruto's show of skill, Rias told the group to return to our homes for the night and then continue the search for Kiba in the morning after getting help at school. The next day after school, Kaneko and I bribed Saji from the student console peerage to help us find Kiba, but before we left for school, Kaneko's classmate and both Rooks of Naruto's peerage joined us, saying, "My cousin told me to assist since my tracking skills is 3rd best in the peerage." With the help of the red-hair boy and Kaneko, we headed out to find Kiba. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.